the pad and the setup and transportation fees and stuff like that. On that. Second thing I need to speak with you on is on Cowboys Trail Riders. Jim Cannon's getting ready to kick off Thursday. So the last meeting we talked about, being able to use water as long as we could meter that. So I talked with Nat and Rita, they do have a meter, so I'll be going to their meeting tomorrow to formally request that, to borrow that meter.
Or at the, I thought we had a meter. Cause during the airport project, I thought we had a meter. Was it theirs?
I don't know. Anyway, well, I will have a meter, so be able to
Okay.
meter the water, and I'm meeting with, Candy Burbridge tomorrow for fire hydrant training. So I know how to use fire hydrant properly.
Okay.
Please.
And we've got members online for the self-propelled sprinkler system, so just make one pass down through that. I have no idea how much water this thing used. I'll be monitoring it at least the first go around. I don't know if it's gonna happen by Thursday, but it would be nice, cause that ground is hard and dry. Horses are already stumbling and injured one up there because of that. So definitely need to get it wetted down and get it turned.
Mhm.
So we can
Few times. Maybe.
on that.
Yeah.
Electricity, I think that's farther down the block for the 50 amp outlet. They've got the piping run and the box out there. I'm not sure if it's live yet or not, but it's right there. So thank you to Tucker Electric. Big shout out for jumping on that so quick. It'll be in August the next time they come in, and it's definitely gonna be a hotter time frame, so that will be a blessing to be able to run all their equipment and the AC inside that van.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you.
And we saw some pictures of the static display.
Yeah,
Is that what I saw? Okay.
possible locations, is that correct?
Yeah, possible
I
location.
did have some concerns with the
Yeah.
location of one of them.
The first one is right on the roadside there.
I like that.
It's only so big, so it would be a small display. Of course, we got a Huey or a tank or something like that, they would not go there.
Yeah. I preferred the second location to it being right there, and I also wonder if there would be any CDOT right of way concerns that close to the roadway.
There's a setback,
Mhm.
that would have to be definitely, so.
So you're
yeah,
thinking something would be really small if it was
Yeah.
gonna go in that
Yeah, a
location?
small artillery piece would fit there. Anything bigger than that would have to go back in the secondary position.
Jay, I wrote you on the list.
Thank you.
Would you like to speak tonight?
No, thank you.
Okay. Chris Daniel?
Chris Daniels, I don't live in town. 940 GD Road. I'm here for Red Rock Rotters. 4th of July, Water Days is coming up, and, we met last Saturday, week ago Saturday, and decided that we did want to have a display during Water Days at the park, if that's agreeable with the town. If it's not, we'll probably not have a display, but we'd really like to have it down in the corner of the park where we have had it in the past. So I know you can't make a decision right now, but I wanted to put the bug in your ear so you can decide before then.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, let me know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak that didn't happen to check the box or already on the agenda? Oh. We'll move along. Great, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda unless there's either item that's on the consent agenda that needs further discussion. On the consent. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
The motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Amy?
Yes.
Charlie? Yes. I vote yes. Tim?
Yes.
Kenny? Yes. Motion carried. All right. New administrative business for the board. Jessica just has an update on here that we are accepting letters of intent. The deadline is June 18th at 5 p.m. Followed by interviews, for possible candidates on June 23rd at 6 p.m. here at the town hall.
So I'd like to add something to the agenda.
We do.
You like to run right over there.
Well, I just expect you to blurt it out.
So,
Okay.
regarding Montrose County fire stuff, there's a meeting coming up on the 11th, of course. But the last one was the sheltering stuff, and I do believe we should be designating a public information officer to do certain things. So if we want to add that to the agenda, the discussion on that,
Could we put that under just like the trustees' reports and announcements and we talk about it there?
that's fine.
So a public, what did you want, a public,
Information.
information officer?
Yeah, I always say
Uh-huh.
public.
Gotcha.
And I know I was here, if you're done, are you done, Tim?
Mhm.
Okay.
And I was,
Okay.
I
Go
typed in
ahead.
something to make me remember, that's all I
Oh,
wanted.
that's funny.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, just for Darla, I had gone to the meetings before, but, for more information for Darla and for Jason, if he's watching, I'm sure he's watching online. About the $18,000 fine from CDPHE that, about the recording of the documents, maybe you can go over that and why we have that to pay off.
Yeah,
Can we, get them up to speed on that? I'm sure they've had questions about that throughout the community.
so we wanna do that under
Just,
the public works report stuff,
That'll be fine.
so, what am I putting on here for? Is it the song, so I remember, okay? Yeah. All right, that'll help me remember what we're talking about anyway. All right, anything else you guys wanna add since I blazed over it?
The camera is only pointing to Jessica.
She was pretty sweet.
Oh, we're working on it, okay.
Well,
It's focused on you,
That's
huh?
be happening.
Says review and discuss committee volunteers needed for the West End Dark Sky. Committee meetings and the Mustang Water alternate. I think we decided that maybe we were gonna wait until we brought on our full board, or do you guys wanna do that now? I mean, it's your choice.
I don't think there's anything critical. Yeah, I think it can wait.
Okay. We'll just keep it on the agenda until we have everybody here and we can make those decisions if that sounds agreeable. All right, full business. First thing here is review and discussion of the BOCC's public hearing, the service plan. And also the West End Health Service District. That meeting is gonna be held on June 10th at the community center here in Nucla at 6 p.m. So further discussion by the board. And I'm hoping everyone is planning to attend. Whether you give comment or not, it would be great.
I plan to be there. If nothing else, I wanna rebut fire chief on the infrastructure issues, water, wastewater.
Yes, you should speak to me about that too, because I did have a conversation after the Montrose meeting with him. So, yeah. All right, so.
Ultimately, this is the commissioner's choice to put it on there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Why is that? If they do it in town limits, it's built in town limits or whatever, why is it?
Well, it's a tax
Tax.
issue within the county, so it has to. And then, of course, gosh, I had brain damage tonight. The public hearing on the service, not just the service plan, but also on the workforce housing piece.
Yeah, the land use code
Yeah,
changes.
yeah,
What time is that meeting?
6.
6.
I'll have both of those things, both hearings at the same time, so. I don't know if you
I'll
guys
be there.
have any direction for me. I mean, I've already spoke on behalf, I spoke on behalf of the town regarding the workforce housing thing when it was here before. I mean, to your direction if you want anything done, otherwise I'll speak on my own behalf.
On the workforce stuff, basically, I'm just gonna push for the more detailed water stuff, water studies. There, I think it's option 2 they have listed. They're gonna run over obviously the, distance thing from town, the buffer period, buffer zone, they'll run over that. They're gonna try and throw everything they can into the special use permit process, which is fine, because there's another public hearing in there, and I think that's where if you wanna oppose it, then, or support it, then that's where you should be showing up and voicing your, because it's not gonna make much difference on the code, land use code regulations right now. That's where you wanna oppose anything you wanna oppose.
The other question on this bullet point here too is, whether the town of Nucla is in agreement to send a letter of support on behalf of the Basin Clinic. We've talked about it a couple times, so, I think if we are going to send that letter of support, then we need to make a decision so that it arrives tomorrow to the commissioners, you know, so.
I think you could do it Wednesday, but quite frankly, if I made some comments, suggestions, I don't know if anybody else had any, I don't know if anybody else
Did
wants.
you guys see that? The green is Jenny's edits on there. Red on that one, green on that one. Was that in the shared folder? Or was it just in that email that was sent out?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw the email, I just was. Okay, did you see that?
I did, I've got it here.
Was he Scott, did you do it?
You know, I do support the Basin Clinic, I really do, the collective enthusiastic support. I don't know, I have reservations about the cost, I have reservations about the fixed income people in our community. I really struggle that almost $1 million a year will be taken from the community through their property taxes. We're just not there yet. I mean, we definitely need to talk about infrastructure and housing and business development, economic development. I do think that the Basin Clinic and having critical access is super important. I'm not in favor of the plan as it is, and the 20 mil, for the community. I think that it needs to start out lower and kind of build up as things move along and as the economy grows. But an $82 million facility, one of the things that the people said in the Western Vision Plan was 74% was after hours care, urgent care, and the other 34% was specialized care. And so I think concentrating on those 2 items beforehand and then bringing in the other items later would be a more efficient and more practical way to go for the people here. I can't get on board. I'm sorry. I do support the clinic, but I think you're asking for too much too soon. And that's my thoughts on that.
Anyone else? I guess we can, Darla, do you have any thoughts? In favor or, of a support letter or not? I think that's the question.
Yeah, I definitely concerned about the money as well, all at once, but yeah, I'm in favor of trying to do what we can to get it.
To leave it up to the voters.
Yeah.
Tim?
Well, I'm in favor. I think, quite frankly, like I said, I think that you'll see an influx of retirees if you have a good health facility, which is a good solid base economically, always is. Fixed incomes, they tend to not, they tend to spend a fair bit of money locally. So that plus, if you're looking at a uranium mill going in Paradox Valley, the a good possibility of that happening. I think you're gonna be, needing better emergency care around here. It was always the case with, Union Carbide's mill and the mines. And eventually you ended up with the resource-based companies actually supporting your health system. So I think there's a possibility that you get a cash infusion from them or some monetary support if you have a facility that needs support. Other than that, I think it's an economic driver, the West End. It's a solid leg versus something that's intermittent or here today and gone tomorrow and dependent upon metal prices and the rest of the stuff that we've always had problems with. So, yeah, I'm generally in favor of it. I don't want to pay the taxes either, but let's face it, I supported a school that I had absolutely no use for. My children never went to the school. Only one of my sons went to the school. But I saw it as something worthwhile for the community, so I voted yes, so.
But there's a big difference between $900,000 one time and $950,000
agree.
every year
I agree,
Yeah.
I don't
to start.
I don't have anything against your opposition and I can understand where it comes from, so. And I'm sure there's lots of people that feel the same way, so. But I can only state my support.
Okay,
So,
I'm in support of, I'm in support of it too. And getting it on a ballot where the voters can decide what they wanna do. I agree. I agree with most of all the points that Tim made there, and I do think it should be left up to our taxpayers to decide if this is the direction they wanna go moving forward, so. If you want a letter of support sent on behalf of the town board, then we'll need a motion to do so. And a vote.
I'll make a motion, we send a little support to the county commissioners for the West End Health District. Because that's essentially what it is the health district itself, as far as what the county commissioners are gonna be acting on. They aren't gonna be acting, I mean, the critical access hospital part of it will be there in their minds, and it'll be something they'll think about, but it's the health district that they're actually making a determination on, whether they're gonna let you put that to the voters to create.
So that's what the letter is going to the county commissioners, is encouraging them to let it go to the voters, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Right, I have a motion and a second to approve a letter of support for the West End Health Service District going to the Montrose County Board of County Commissioners. Amy,
Yes, with reservations.
Darrell,
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Tim?
Yes.
And
Yes,
so you guys have seen the draft letter. If you have any additions or comments on that, you can try to get them to Jess by in the morning. That would be very helpful.
I'm just to make a point, frankly. Even if the health district gets established and the clinic is pushing for the critical access hospital, if there is a desire to tone that down, it can still be done before the vote, or it can be done after the vote in November, so.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to go full bore with it, they can always change their plans. But the health district has to come first, they have to be able to have the tax district to do anything at all.
Yeah, I think for me, it's the amount of the levy, of the mill levy. I think it's gonna be an impossible sell. But it should be up to the voters, so, good luck.
Hey, anything else? Next on the agenda is to approve or deny the vacation plat of the Miners Crossing subdivision. Joseph.
I'm here for you.
Joseph, proud of you.
I came back. Yeah, do you guys have questions? What's going on?
There was only one comment by James, the original plat included his adjustments based on the state's right of way.
Okay.
So did you, I don't know if anybody forwarded that to you,
No,
you probably should say it. Quite frankly, I used to talk to him because I got a headache about halfway through it.
Yeah.
Those are two different subjects, right?
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
vacation plat and
No, because
the
vacation
town.
plat has to include, has to make sure that that right of way call out is included in the language on a vacation plat.
It may be
That's
nicer.
his comment, so that's why I said you need.
I think that it is actually between Joseph and his
Yeah.
survey team, whomever he's using. I don't see where we have, I don't see where we're at in this, besides just to approve the vacation and let him go back to what he had before and deal with his surveyors.
I don't know, quite frankly, it only matters because the right of way is called out, and if we don't, if we don't cover the fact that the right of way runs through there, that, I don't know, you should just talk.
I think that the survey teams will be talking about that, and I'm sure that the county will make sure that everything is done the way it's supposed to be.
Well, that's, yeah, because the state right of way is ambiguous, to say the least, so.
That's the state's problem, not mine. Yeah. So
Any
I'm just
questions
trying
for
to
Joseph?
get this back to where it was so that I can start.
But you
So
gotta
where
do
was it
instead.
before?
It
And
was-
where is it that you want?
So there was a subdivision plat that is recorded with the county. That is not the one that, the last one that was approved by the board. But I would like to go back to one lot because the infrastructure, the numbers that have come in, my construction numbers were right, my budget was good. My infrastructure numbers were quite off. So I need to pull back and sort of redesign this, probably with more commercial than residential, because it's a little bit easier on the infrastructure. But I don't know, and I don't want to be paying taxes on a subdivision that's not going to be able to move forward the way it is currently with the county.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you.
Sure.
Does anybody have any other questions for Joseph?
I guess my concern is we've gotten all excited about these, about the housing and the possibility of new housing in the area. So, I mean, for me, I'm totally emotionally invested in this and wanting to see it through. So if we go back to that, I mean, I need to know, are you doing this project or is this something that you're going, I mean, is there going to be some housing on that property? I mean, that's where I'm at, cause I feel like we all,
Touch base on it so many times.
Well, I
we've been
think-
teased with housing for the last,
Let's be
16
clear
years.
about one thing. There is nobody in this entire West End that is more invested in housing on that lot than me. Nobody around here has put the time, money, or effort in that I have. So I'm just trying to pull back now that I understand what the infrastructure of the town is and how expensive it is to work infrastructure out here and figure out what is going to give me a return that I can build. That's all. One does not, whatever I do with that lot has no bearing on your vote. No. I understand.
I'm looking at the
I
property
understand
taxes.
your, well, you can't encumber me in that way if it's unbuildable. And as it stands on that plat, it's unbuildable because that's not approved anymore by the board.
Okay, interesting. But you are gonna build.
Something's going on that house.
Some guarantees
Something is
here,
going on
Joseph,
that
like, seriously, like, we need housing, like, that is
Yeah.
huge, and so I just don't want it to go back to something that is just a blank vacant lot again.
Well, it
and
has
create
to
more and more. and more.
Eventually, it has to go back to a blank lot. To be built into something else. Because the plat that is currently recorded is non-buildable, because it's not in the approved plan anymore.
Yeah, we can't make you do it, we can't make you build. So,
No.
No, but
But-
we can give them some
but
incentive.
something's going to go on.
Build on it.
I can guarantee.
I don't think making someone hurt because of taxes is the way to encourage them to build in our
I just
community.
don't want it to sit. So for me, if there's business incentives that we can offer later on and talk about, which we need to talk about anyway,
Yes.
then that's awesome. I just don't want, I don't want a vacant lot again. I want things to be happening on that property. So I guess for me, an incentive, a forced incentive would be paying the property taxes or building, you know, that's your, you know, push.
Thank you.
But I'm gonna push you and push you until I see something built on that property. So that's where I'm at, so.
Going into the old grocery store.
Oh my gosh, oh, you mean, oh, push, oh, everybody wants to know, if I had
Oh,
a
yeah.
dollar.
I mean, as long as we're talking about
All right.
vacant storefronts and vacant
Let's-
properties.
yeah.
Stuck together.
And
Well, are you trying to bring us to order?
I'd like to bring.
you know
this
where
back
I'm
to
at
order.
with housing,
Thank you.
so I just wanna make sure that we're getting the housing that
And on
we need.
an unrelated topic, I am working with Habitat for Humanity on take over some of these vacant houses. So,
Okay,
anyway, that's an unrelated
all
topic.
right.
I'm gonna
Make a
take a
motion.
motion to move forward. with
Make a
this.
motion to vacate the plat of the Miners Crossing subdivision.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the vacation of the plat for the Miners Crossing subdivision. Penny?
Yes.
Tim?
No, say no.
I vote yes. Darla?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes, with reservations.
Motion
Got it.
carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Always exciting, Joseph.
Always.
Always. All right, the next here, I believe, is a reminder that we have a joint meeting with the Weston Public School Board tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the community center.
Didn't read far enough down, sorry.
Oh,
I was talking, asking her there.
was there any questions?
Well, I just was that, when you brought it up, I was like, what time is it? And it's right there.
Okay, that's all right, all right.
Yes, we're gonna be hanging together 3 nights in a row.
This
Who's
week.
bringing
Yeah.
snacks tomorrow?
Yeah. And, okay,
Hear me say that.
Lots of bigger.
the next is this drought water resolution and, I did some work, but Tim did a lot of work to it.
Oh,
And so because of Tim doing a lot of work to it, I had to turn it back to the NWA board for their review again. So, I have heard nothing from not one of them. So I will push them a little bit harder, but I'm not gonna redo the resolutions and all that kind of stuff until there is a decision made out there. So I apologize.
Is there anything to redo on the resolutions? I didn't really look at those.
Well, the resolutions are aligned with the MOA and also the graph, the chart and all that stuff. So when one changes, it changes all of them. In theory, I mean, it could a little bit, so. Anyway, more to come. 2 other policies that are hanging out there, the technology and social media policy, which I sent you guys some information a while back for you to review, see what you thought.
Get back to me on it.
There's a whole bunch of suggestions on streamlining those policies with the board, hold on, I'm trying to open things up here.
Everything's working.
Yeah, yeah, just, it's just me. We're trying to align this with the document, what's it called, Jessica, the board, board of Code of conduct, thank you, that's what, yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. So this is the suggestions that we came up with of areas that could use amendment in all of these documents so that there's better alignment between all of them, and I don't know if you guys have had a chance to review them. But, that's what I came up for you guys to look at this time and give your feedback on that. There's also a suggestion that there should be a definition page added to those documents. That's also included in there. Yeah. So some really fun reading material, basically, is what I'm saying. You should be able to edit and make suggestions on there too, if you guys have any
On the internet or
on the document itself.
on the document itself,
Yeah.
okay.
And then as my note said regarding the lodging tax documents, honestly, I don't remember what you guys wanted changed or if you had any direction for me on those. So I have not done anything to them. They are as they were. There was a few of them that has some questions on there that I had put in the sidebar for your consideration. But. So any new information from you all on those two documents, those policies?
I would like to have the social media policy and the technology policy separated out. I don't want those to go together.
They are separate.
Okay. I definitely have some issues with some of the language in the social media policy. I don't have too much with the technology policy. I understand the need for phones to be locked down. I struggle with that because I definitely don't want my phone down. And and maybe the computer wired or wireless network interface, digital data storage. I don't know, I just had a few things that I wanted to look through some more.
So look
For the
through-
technology
I was
policy.
gonna say, when you're looking through those, also check the folder that says, hold on, I'm gonna tell you what it says. It just says, 6/1/26 policy. Something, alignment. And some of those suggestions in there, I didn't add them in because I didn't want to do that till you guys looked at them, but I'm just wondering if there's anything in there that might help with some of the questions that you have as well. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some of these suggestions will take care of some of the questions, but maybe not too, so.
On which one? I'm sorry.
Well, there's several of them,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Like printed.
yes, and that's fine that she printed, that's good,
You got your.
I'm a printer.
that's all right. Yeah,
Yeah,
some of them are specific, suggestions for the technology policy, some of them are specific to the social media policy. Yeah, I would say just put on your notes or even highlight the areas that you're concerned, so that it makes it easier for everybody to discuss those areas. If you have suggestions on how you'd like to see it changed, make those notes on the side, and then we can go right to those areas and everybody can weigh in on it, so.
yeah, I've got a couple of things on the unacceptable activities that I would like deleted off of there, and so,
Yeah.
I'll make those changes on the. Or not changes,
Yeah,
I'll try to do the suggested edits thing that
Yeah.
is so,
totally fine.
and then we can talk about those.
Perfect.
But I think that if we're
And
going to,
honestly, on that one there too, I should say, let me see if I correct about this, think about it. That draft of the social media guidelines and, standards, I'm not even sure if that's a necessary document. We can talk about that, where it has the unacceptable this and that on there. I kind of think that one may be something we don't even need to have that particular piece. It seems like it's just redundant of some of the information that's already in there, so,
especially in the code of conduct and
Yeah.
ethics policy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that one could be an easy one, just to say we don't need that.
I agree, I agree, we don't need that.
Does anybody?
Social media policy.
Why don't I look at it again? Let's face it.
Yeah,
I looked at that,
Totally,
what, 6 weeks ago, made my comments and it's gone.
well, I think we added, at each time we've had comments on certain things, I think we've tried to go back and add or make those suggestions on there, but I think the alignment piece really takes care of a whole bunch of stuff that was in question for me. Just so that they all go together, so. All right, we'll let them hang there.
Yeah.
Amy, do you have an update for the intergovernmental agreements and the condition plan?
I don't. I uploaded those coordination principles to the drive and shared them with Jessica. Jessica, you are welcome to share those with the board.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it, so you're gonna have to do it.
And I started searching for ideas and MOUs this stuff, like,
Okay.
put on the list, and so I
Okay.
started dropping the most current ones.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, the things that I think that we haven't thought about and that we should think about as we're making those, policies with Montrose County as far as what goes on the federal lands in Montrose County. I think we should have really meaningful input into that. And, I think what I uploaded will start those conversations and get our brain working a little bit, in a different direction. That we should cover when doing that IGA with, what's his name? Gabe. I was gonna get that wrong. But yeah, I think that will probably take a little bit longer than we think it's gonna take, but, I think we need to cover a lot of those things in our IGA.
Thank you.
But I'll let Jessica share that with you.
All right, and that leads us right to, we're having a workshop or work session on June 24th at 4:30 here at the town hall with Gabe, Preston, is that right? With RBI regarding the town's land use development code, any potential updates or changes that we'll be looking at. So we welcome everybody. Hope that you'll participate in that. Anything else that you need to add?
He
Tina?
should be dropping, he should be sending over some edits and a few things for us to start reviewing this week. That was my understanding last time I talked to him. I asked him to please send what he can as far
Yeah.
in advance as possible because, well, it's helpful.
Thank you. Right. And then the next item there is tabled until September 2026, which is the franchise lease review for Black Hills Energy. Okay. We'll move down to our special districts, community stakeholders, reports and announcements. Mustang Water Authority. I don't think we've met since we last, our meeting hasn't come yet. And we don't have anyone from the chamber here tonight, or the West End Dark Sky Alliance. The West End Housing Committee. Trying to think if I've met, I don't think we've met since our last. And I don't know if you got a report from Weedsy. I did attend the last meeting, just randomly. And I would be glad to share the director's report if you guys wanna see it. Usually they send it to the town.
I searched, but I'm not searching with that.
Is that something you guys wanna see? The director's report from Weedsy? I'm pretty sure I have it, and if not, I'll have Michaela send it to us, so.
Speaking of Michaela, that's her schedule for right now.
Yeah.
I had heard that they extended her, she agreed to extend for another month. So that's all I heard.
Have they got any?
Didn't sound like they had any applications at that meeting, but they may have, they went into executive session also, so they could have had some other dialogue about that, but I wasn't there for, so, yeah. Right, I'll find out about, getting that stuff sent over to you guys. Yeah. We're on to our staff and department reports. And I'll let Jessica take it away.
In a couple of weeks, crazy, seems like, and Monday meetings throw me off.
Oh, yeah.
You think?
Man, I was like on struggle.
that.
So. I guess, start from top down. We are working on, a big thank you to some volunteers who've been helping out at the park with trimming it. Much appreciated. We are down to a one-man show right now, and he's doing really great, as the only person that, to call upon right now. He's staying pretty positive. He's gonna be meeting with Rod Sir tomorrow to discuss the splash pad. It's one of the only things that we can offer the community, and it's a huge hit with the kids, and and it's summertime, and I think it's important, so I'm kind of trying to push that to the top as much as I can without overwhelming anyone.
Was it the switch again, or is it?
It's I don't know, it's a part, it's a part. I have a picture of a piece.
So, can I add? So I did some reconnaissance at the splash pad today. Hadn't been there for a while. And I was actually kind of surprised to see that it's dismantled in some ways. We're used to have I don't know, they came up and they had flowers on them and they sprayed, and then they had all the things that shoot up from the middle of different timers. All of that stuff's removed. It's just a round concrete pad, and those two, I don't know what you call them, standards that came up that had the little flowers that sprayed and did all that stuff. they're gone, and it's just been plated over. And I guess I'm oblivious, cause I don't know when that happened. But my concern is it is popular in our community, especially now when the temperatures are getting hot. And I would like the board to discuss, I think we need to get it up and running at whatever level we can, but I also think that it would be wise to have the technician come out. Now, and if we need some new pieces or parts to put it back to like what it was, why are we not maintaining it? You know what I'm saying? It kind of goes that way with any of our stuff, rather than just disassemble it and it just gets less and less until it doesn't work and we don't have it anymore. I would love to see us try to maintain something to the level of which we started with, if possible.
I'm sure the technology has changed since then too.
Well,
And it did.
I didn't realize it had been that.
I don't have any idea.
Well, yes, it's been years.
You see tons of posts on Facebook, is the splash pad working,
saw
why
that.
isn't the splash pad working? So it is very popular, very beneficial for the kids.
And last year, it was the brain box. That was the big thing that we had to wait for apart. That part, it was the brain and it was shorting out and you can't mix electrical with water.
No.
So that was, and so we thought this year would be good to go. And I agree with Paul, we might need to bring somebody in to kind of just give us an evaluation, because, replacing it, yes, eventually, but I can't find a single plan. I'm still looking for any drawing or anything of the makeup of it, and so, we've got some people we can call on to give some quotes and figure out how to get it back.
So you have nothing to base a web search on or anything, manufacturer, anything.
I looked up the manufacturer and it's Performance something out of New Mexico. And I looked it on their website and I haven't emailed or anything yet, to see their design, but they just kind of like design specifically for each area. I do have their quote that explains that they
They
do
might
that
be
work.
able to though, cause
They may have.
I have to go back to a lot of archived and stuff that's.
Snakes and.
I'll just
I
ask
hope
them and
not,
see if they
Fred.
have any records.
All the time.
So who built that and installed all that? Is that
That
the
Performance
manufacturer?
something, yeah.
Yeah.
And I did read in their proposal that like these types of splash pads, they have about a 10-year lifespan.
Yeah.
And we're approaching that. However, we can probably squeeze,
Well, and maybe there's some updates or upgrades that can be done to it that extends the life of it,
Well, if you replace the control module, you should replace the most vulnerable items, so.
Yeah.
It's, the control module is actually embedded, it's in the concrete, it's not something that's isolated from potential water contamination, I guess.
I have no idea. I picture like a spider web of pipes that come out from a central location and squirt up through the concrete. That's it. Like I don't know how.
That's very
else in my
technical.
brain, I can get it to work and then push water out.
It's just gotta work by 4th of July.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
So I will
deadline.
contact
Yeah.
and get the schematics. And I'll reach out to a few people that I know that kind of work on those sorts of things and we'll get some quotes and some ideas, but maybe tomorrow we'll get some more light shed on.
Well, the manufacturer might just be able to offer you a service to do something with it. That's reasonable.
What else? So we cut down some trees on near 4th and Ash. Go For It was already up there for a resident and we have 2 trees that were cottonwoods, pretty scary. So we went ahead and we went over budget 1,500 with the tree budget this year, but those trees have to come down and there's one more that needs to be evaluated and it probably needs to come down as well. They're really hollow, they've got raccoons living in them.
Oh, that's what's neat, my strawberries in my house.
Yeah, so we might not have that problem anymore.
There's like 6,
Is there?
or like 6 in that one tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
I'll get a number for you guys to kind of review and some more information. The court just stopped in this afternoon and gave us that update. So Mesa is still, or should be this week, giving us some possible solutions for the, water problem down at 10th and like behind Diddy's, that, what am I trying to say, that top water or whatever it's called.
Groundwater.
Thank you, that's the word, groundwater. So I will let you know what they decide and what the possible solution is. And the DSB hearing this morning went well. Briar made comments in the defense and there weren't any questions from the commission. They didn't have any feedback. And the Department of Wildlife thanked, the town of Nucla for being very proactive with the arsenic, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The ammonia, because it's gonna be beneficial. Yeah, I know, there's always word on like, but I thought it went well, and we'll have our usual DSB meeting on Thursday and with a full update from the PH&E and Briar.
There are two sensitive fish in Calamity, trout and one of the suckers, white sucker or something. That's sensitive to ammonia, so I am interested in taking a look at ammonia levels above our discharge and below our discharge, just as out of curiosity, because I don't think anybody's come back at us. The commission had no questions, but that doesn't mean they won't, because they obviously didn't approve the continuation of our special discharge variance, so that'll be down the line, but they had no questions and CDW was supportive. They had no objection to continue it, so I don't think there's gonna be a problem, but I am curious about ammonia levels above our discharge based on the fact that CPW is rated to fish sensitive to ammonia and our levels are above that. The sensitivity level for those two fish, so.
Yet they won't put in any trout into the river because they don't live there, right? They live up country more. And depending on the sucker fish, it's probably not endangered. There's 3 sucker fish that are an issue, but 2 of them are fine as a species. Another one is not, but don't forget the what?
The dace,
The-
another fish.
Oh, golly. Big sucker fish.
Some of the more exciting news is we did hire a new library director and she will start the 16th and she brings some energy that is much needed. She's a retired middle school teacher and she's moving here because her daughter lives here and just had a baby. Well, within the last year. And so this is her dream retirement job, which is fabulous. She has a lot of ideas for the library. She wants to set up a booth at Water Days and get to know the community and start getting some feedback immediately. And so we're waiting for you guys to meet and she's pretty contagious, her smile, so
She really
be
is.
aware.
Yeah, she's super cool. I think they did good.
Yeah, but Lori's really excited since, we can't turn her to the building anymore, so, and Sharon too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's great, and we are accepting public work position applications until the 18th, same day as the intent, letters of intent. We haven't had a lot of response, so we might consider extending it, but we also haven't used all the advertising. We've had, some basic advertising ways, and the radio station reached out, I'm sure they want a pretty penny for some advertising.
Such $1 billion.
I forward that to everyone and they can look at it or feedback on if you've ever had good experience with radio advertising. I don't listen to the radio, I listen to Sirius when I but we're all ears for advertising those jobs.
You've got it in the forum now, or?
Yeah, we
Okay,
did this last
okay,
week's
cool.
one.
Yeah, and I pay for a subscription on that other, it's not Indeed, it's the other one, I don't know. So that's kind of that. And I forgot to put on the calendar that I will be gone on Thursday the 18th and most of the day on Monday. Your meeting is Monday night for the Main Street on the
Oh.
22nd.
Yeah, it is.
I'll be back in time for that and I'll probably come to the office as soon as I get back to town, so.
Perfect, thank you.
I'll be better about submitting my requests for NOI. It got
I thought-
lost. in
I thought it was
the
on the calendar, so I figured she was,
desk.
she's plans ahead far.
Yeah,
It
so,
got
okay,
super lost on the desk, so.
didn't do that.
All right, and I like seeing that David's put a report in for the staff report, that was good.
Yeah, Tom Lozey is a little worried about his job security since, he doesn't have any dockets. But David's handling it, so.
Yeah. All right,
So in code enforcement, speaking of which, we evidently are still billing water out at Rainwater's property.
No, we are in the process of,
Cause that should have been shut off a long time ago. My understanding was that there was a conversation with Kobe a long time ago that should have been shut off and it wasn't.
Mm.
So,
it's actually in the abandonment process of the taps. It's been, I'll look back and double check. Yeah.
so any chance code enforcement could make when he's doing his rounds, he could do a quick notation on how many houses are for sale?
Mhm.
I'm curious because housing is a issue in this whole. It's part of the issue in the whole,
just
Help
jump,
this.
Tops of everything.
jump on Zillow or Realtor.com, you can look, and see how many.
I can add that to my list.
What's five
Million
seconds?
mile.
Yeah, you can go from list to map.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
quickly, very quickly, yes. You can see where all of them are located in one felt swoop.
Do you want structures on them or do you want big houses?
I'm just curious about the housing to there.
No. All right. Anything else, Miss Jessica? Any questions for Jess?
We have some new road campers that popped up.
Oh, we. Some new
The
what?
road campers, that are people living in their campers
In town.
In
in
town,
town. Yeah,
I know
no
there's some-
variance, no.
No
conditional
permits?
use, No, yeah. no,
Really?
About 4 of them, so.
Just curious.
Any on Sixth Avenue?
Sixth, yeah. On a recently purchased lot.
Apparently I need to go move on.
Yeah, and then there's a couple of liars that say they're not, but
Okay. Is David working on this too?
Yeah, I brought it to his attention today and asked him to get a collective list and let's send letters out together because one will notice that you didn't send one to another, and if you do it for one, you do it for all.
All right.
Bye.
I would like to give you guys an update on the meetings that I've been holding with the Main Street business and property owners. I don't know if I do have some pictures to show you. See it, Joseph? But I don't know, I didn't bring my HDMI cord, so I'm gonna see if I can at least get to them and show you what they look like.
It's just, this one was attached to the computer, the HDMI.
But if you undo that, what's it gonna mess up for you?
Nothing, because it's just to the TV.
Okay, then I'll show you. I'm gonna find which side that was. That's on this side. Well, that's the tiny little.
Yeah, you can take that extension off.
I think it's okay, I just have to turn it a little bit, mine has it has both, so I think it'll work, let's give it a try, is it? No, it's okay, we can make it work. Let me get to the right screen here real quick. And so I can't talk and do two things at once anymore, apparently, I've tried, I'm not successful.
Sometimes with that too.
Yeah. So I have notes too, but I'm just gonna wing it here a little bit. All right, so from our first meeting that we had, one of the conversations was about, working on signage, starting at the highway at 141 and, working our way into Main Street. So I reached out to CDOT and we'll wait here. We talked about taking away the Nucla loop signs because everybody kind of agreed that they were stupid. They kind of don't know where they go, it's a little confusing when you're not from this area. So, anyhow, the lady at CDOT put together some drawings here. And I don't know how good they will.
Trying to do that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm just blabbing like they can see.
I'm just kidding.
Sure.
I'm a technology challenge today.
When I look over at Amy and she's going, like, I do not know what she's talking about. Yes, do you want me to just?
Well,
do the
they're receptive,
HDMI?
finally.
I may be having trouble with the connector.
Okay, here's this, so I didn't be the one to lose your stuff. Okay. Any luck there? Making sure that's stuck in there too. But I'll narrow it down. So what we talked about was directional signs that say Nucla and how many miles, and then we talked about, icons.
Mhm.
Which they have a very specific number of ones that they use, and they have very specific rules on what can be posted on the highway. But,
the little bed.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, and the fuel,
Just,
you know, and food and all that stuff. So since the meeting that I had with the group the other day, they've called me again, and, which was good, because we had some questions we wanted to know about propane, because that was one of the icons that was on their thing. Well, they don't do those any longer. And the other one was Cassie brought up about, you know, EMS services, you know, and the fact that the fire hall has the ambulance there and all this and that. And, anyway, that one we don't qualify either, because you have to have a physician on site X number of hours. And I think you had to have like a PA or a nurse or someone there, so we don't qualify to do that icon. So the ones we can do is fuel, food, beds, EV charging station. Those are the ones that we meet the criteria for the most part, okay. But there's still questions on that, because the state requires you, if you say that you have lodging, that you have to have at least 50 beds. And so that would be combined. And so she calls me and she says, well, I've been looking and I see, you know, the Vestal House and I see some VRBOs, but I'm thinking all told, there's not 50 beds. And I said, probably not. But she says that her boss, who will be back this week, can override that. So I give her a bunch of data. She had a lot of questions. So that was one of them. The restaurant, there was some hours requirements on that too. And I told her, I said, we have this restaurant, we have this one coming online, we have this other one that's, you know, I kind of told them what they were planning to do. I could tell them what Elaine's hours were. I could tell them what the 5th used to be. And I don't know if she's gonna do the same ones. I mean, I was really honest with her about it, and she said she still thought that that would probably make the criteria, but he has to also check the box on that also and say it's okay. So, anyhow, let me show you some more of the pictures here, and then because like I said, I can't do 2 things at once. So this is coming, you know, down Calamity, so it would have the sign that was up above there first, the green sign that says, oh, and now they got it mixed up here, so this is the power plant cutoff. All right. Here we go. The green signs and the blue signs cannot be on the same post. You have to do the green signs that say where you're going, who, you know, go this direction to Nucla, and then the blue signs have to be on a separate post. And so as you can kind of see there, the green sign will come first and how many miles, and the blue signs will come next, stating what services that we have there. And they're talking about doing the same thing at the Calamity intersection and at the power plant cutoff, the Highway 91. And right now, their estimate, and they cannot even give me a solid price until we enter into an MOU with them, which they have said, yes, they will do that directly with the town of Nucla. They just wanted to make sure that Montrose County was aware. So I met with Bo Andrews and he's like, whatever you wanna do, we're good. But they're giving an estimated price of $3,500. And the MOU, my understanding, the basics of it, which is all I've been given so far, is that it's just saying that if there's damage done to the signs or they have to be replaced, that it's at the expense of the town. And so, anyway, that's where we're at with that. The group's consensus was they thought this was great. They wanted to move forward with it. I told them I'd talk to you guys. And then I also told the people at CDOT that after tonight's meeting that I would give them the yes, we want to proceed forward or not,
And-
so.
Since I can't see what it says, but it for sure just says Nucla
Yeah.
5 or whatever it is with the.
Yes, I actually have a better picture.
Was there
See,
arrow?
yeah,
Right.
there's an
Yeah.
arrow, sorry.
Yeah.
I
Love it.
Yeah, and so, and these are
No more loop.
60 inches long and 18 inches tall.
It's 5 feet.
So, you know, they look little in the picture, but they're pretty sizable.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's one thing. Let me see if I have. We talked about the Todd signs and the logo signs, and of course Sharon had done a ton of investigative work on that. It's kind of something the individual business does, but then they have to pay annually, so there's a lot of cost incurred with that. I can show you what they look like if you guys are not familiar with them. So this is more like the Todd signs, tourist informational signs, and sorry, I was just gonna try to make it bigger. I didn't go into that really deep. I have some information that I said I'd share out with anybody that wanted to dig into it deeper. But the consensus was from them is they just didn't. This wasn't what they wanted to do right now, and most of them didn't want that reoccurring annual fee to have
The
the name on the
businesses.
roads, the businesses, yeah. So, and then the logo signs.
That come to your last meeting?
Yeah, there was 12 there last time and there was 13, well, 12 and 13, one or the other. These look like they go on an interstate. And Sharon said that when she dug into that, she didn't think that we qualified for these type of signs here, so I don't know. But if you guys, anybody wants information on that, I have it, I can forward it to you. So Jessica and I met with Bo, that was the next level, we went from the state highway to the county roads. And we asked him about some other signage that would kind of just reassure people that are not from here, that once they get off down at the power plant cut off and they make the winds, that they're still on the right track to get to Nucla. Absolutely willing completely to put signs up wherever we want to. We talked about some locations, he agreed those were great. One of them was the intersection there that at turned to Silverhawk and 90 would be one there. And then maybe even another one on the curb out here where David Kelly lives, just because that's paved, you know, and that can kind of get confusing where the other ones kind of goes, yeah.
So
So
what about one there at Ma Bucks where they don't turn to go to, or would you do one to,
we're at,
going to Dean's house?
okay. Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that one specifically just because it kind of turns off in a dirt road and you kind of, you know,
If you go the other way towards Hilltop,
yeah. We could talk to him about that one too.
I'd just be curious, cause you get
Yeah.
there, which way do I go?
Maybe straight, you know, we might want to straight ahead or.
Yeah, straight ahead.
And then coming from Calamity, it's kind of pretty self-explanatory, but
Yeah.
we thought that big curve out there, you know, once you come up Calamity and you make the one really sharp 90 and then it's straight into town, that maybe there's a little reassurance sign there that says
A mile.
Nucla and.
You are not lost.
Like, yeah.
Miles or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he sent Jess and I some information where to order the signs from. And talked about, you know, what size their signs are that they use right now. And let me see if I actually noted that, because I don't think I did. They're longer than you think they are, I think, yeah. But he also said we didn't have to do that shape, you know, if we wanted to do a square or a rectangle that said Nucla, the mileage and an arrow. Whatever we get, they will put up for us. And we tried to pick locations where there was existing posts already there that they could add them to that, which would be less of a cost. And he did send an email, and I think it was like $36 per sign. If we do a sign that's like what the county uses, the rectangular directional ones, he called those something.
And they would be
Yeah.
green just like that, right?
He actually,
Before you could do those?
there's
Yeah.
other colors available, but we kind of talked about, we thought maybe green would be consistent so that
With,
they,
with what you
Yeah, what's
see
on
when
the-
you're traveling,
and-
other people that are out.
and on the
traveling.
state highway.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah,
I
that's
agree with that.
pretty much what everybody
Have
else
it
thought
be,
too.
yeah.
Yeah,
He was pretty much agreeable. It's like, yeah, whatever, you know, you could, instead of doing them long like theirs, you can flip them so they're like this, you know, and
mhm.
just kind of stand out a little.
Very
bit.
agreeable,
Mhm.
just absolutely totally agreeable. So again, that was met with positive feedback from the business group that they thought this was the next step that they'd like to work towards. And then we talked about, well, we talked about a lot of things, but we talked about our welcome sign to Nucla. And we talked about wayfinding signs within Nucla. And so I did a little reconnaissance. These are the tiny little signs that were put up several years ago when, Sherry Farmer was our deputy clerk. And so these were like when you're coming in from 25 Mesa or from out this direction or on 10 Road at either end coming into the municipality. And then the other signs are our current welcome to Nucla signs. And so this was kind of just take a temperature a little bit on how everybody felt about these. And the overwhelming feedback from the group that was there the other night is that they've kind of, their usefulness has kind of been done. They need to be retired. Yes, there was some conversation and Jane was there thankful to say, we can put these in a new place. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
you know. So the other thing that's really noticeable here, when you're driving down the road, and you guys will have to pay attention to this now, because there is a giant Russian olive sitting, not on our property, but just right in the corner of the other property that covers up those signs completely. So we ought to see if we can take that
I
down.
bet Tasha Nygren wouldn't have any
She
issue.
was, I'm sure, yeah. Anyway, so I guess we were taking the temperature to see what everybody felt. They also felt like there probably should be more public discussion about this because, you know, we get attached to things and we aren't trying to hurt anybody, but we do want to make something look a little bit more welcoming when you come into town.
Bright and colorful.
I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a,
Throw it out for a design contest.
No.
that's not a bad idea.
Oh, you guys, I think we have like two, like Britt was already sketching on paper at the meeting and Josh's wheels are turning. I mean, we have local businesses that with some directions will come up with something amazing, you know, I'm sure, but you know, this would be the next level, you know, of something that we thought would be worth looking into. And then the wayfinding signs, this is funny. Some people haven't even noticed these, so, but there again were some that were done. Oh, yeah, this one. These were some that were done that Sherry, picked out for us, you know, when she was here. And the consensus from the group on this is they don't find that this is as important at the moment as these other things before it are. That these are still giving direction. They're still saying, you know, once you get to that intersection, that Nucla loop sign goes away, that takes the confusion, and it's still saying, where's the business district, where's the park? The Rim Rocker Trail stuff that we've been talking about, which I'm gonna talk about that some more, we're helping with the confusion because we're telling them to come down Main Street and their maps are telling them to go down 29 Road, but the town itself has put up signs that tells them where we want them to go. So, you know, for the moment, they're saying these would be, okay, this could be down the road, we could maybe revisit that. This is at Darla's house.
I think we should.
Darla's Corner.
Loop form to Darla's.
Is that the same place you put on your report as Lemons?
I'm like, oh, that's funny. I saw that too. I'm like.
All right, so that's kind of the consensus that I got back on that. Let me see what else I have to show you. So regarding the Rim Rocker Trail, I did send an email out to the commissioners and to Erica Story. I sent them both of these maps, just the inset of Nucla, showing how the map used to be going down Main Street. Let me see if I can drag that thing up there. It's kind of offset, but you came down 25 Main Street Road, 4th Avenue, Main Street, CC Road, and then back out that way. And then the new one, we know, takes them right down 29 Road to CC Road and out of town bypassing it. So my email to them included these, and I asked them if there was any room for, you know, well, I didn't say any room, but I asked if we could have a conversation about this and how it's affecting our Main Street businesses and look for some solutions. And I didn't hear anything back from the commissioners, but I did catch them when I was at the meeting last week and talked to one of the commissioners, and I mostly talked to Erica Story. And she said they definitely will visit with us further about this, and I tried to give her an understanding where we're at. She said the concern is because they're not supposed to have ATV on Main Street here, you know, and they didn't want to be a part of encouraging that. I said, I understand. And even when we talked to Bo with Road and Bridge, I mean, there are some ATV groups and side-by-side groups, but there's a lot of Jeep and overland vehicles, so it seems like it's changed a little bit over the course of the last few years, so it sounds like there's room for conversation, and we don't have any dates set up, so I'll do a follow-up and just say, hey, just following up, and can we set a time to talk about it? But the other thing that I shared with the group that I think is exciting is that our Rim Rocker Trail, our 160-mile Rim Rocker Trail is part of the bigger loop, the Legend Loop Trail, which Grand Junction, it connects Grand Junction, Montrose, Moab, and it's 600 miles. And I think that that has the potential of really bringing a new group of people on this end of the trail. So, the Grand Mesa Jeep Club is the one that's been advocating for that for years, and they posted earlier this spring that it's open for business. I'm not seeing a lot of advertising on it yet, although there is some YouTubers starting to put some stuff out. But I think that's good for Nucla. I think it could be really good for Nucla, because it also changes the course of how long it takes them to get to one place to the other, which could make us more of the stop. Because we're so close to Montrose, they bypass us. And if they come from the other way, you know, it's hit and miss, they're staying or anything, so. Anyway, sorry about that, Blabby. Sorry about that. Anyhow, my question and ask is if the board will consider going into an MOU with CDOT, so we can start the process with getting the signs on 141. And if, you know, I'm gonna make a suggestion, but it doesn't have to be, that maybe those funds could come from some lodging tax money. And if we have another source we'd rather pull it from, then I'm open to that suggestion as well. But I just wanted to get a feel from you guys. And the Main Street group, we're gonna meet again on the 22nd,
How much is it belong, lodging tax?
over $11,000.
And yeah, the next meeting, street meeting, said that.
22nd. It's 6. I think it's in a
Is
calendar
that
reminder out.
your community center?
We have it at the community center. Yeah. And if there's gonna be more than 2 of us there, you guys just need to let Jess know, and she'll put a posting up, but there might be more than 2 of us at the meeting, so everybody's welcome to come.
So you need a motion on that, or do you need?
Well, we need a discussion and a motion if that's something you guys are agreeable to. The 3,500 is definitely an estimate. She said that they will nail that down as they start into the MOU, but that was her best estimate at this time.
I think it's a great idea, I'm all for it.
Me too, and I'm been writing signage in Nucla for forever. Doesn't affect me now since I don't do what I do, but. I
It
just
would have made a difference.
Would have made a huge difference, yeah.
Absolutely.
I drove around and gave myself a pop quiz for the last week and I failed miserably, like I have not, I don't know the signs apparently, or I'm just, I'm not sure.
We're all familiar with what we're doing, you know, we
Yeah.
don't vote for that, but when you're not from here, I think you look for signs.
Yeah, and so, they're, it's interesting.
There probably should be a sign where,
Darla said.
what'd you call it, Grandma Bucks?
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
I always call her Bob up.
Oh, my.
Yeah, cause it was Buck
And Phyllis.
and Phyllis,
Yeah,
Craig,
yeah.
yeah, so when,
Yeah.
after.
I just hadn't heard that before, so. But
Well,
now
I-
I know where you meant.
I do think that, just sitting here thinking about that after Darla said that.
Yeah, it could be confusing there.
Well, and there may be a reason to point that way because of the airport. And possibly the airport, there should be an airport sign there.
Oh. Yep. Yeah, that's
Since
good.
that would be the road you would turn off if you were looking for the airport rather than going all the way into town.
Those beach signs have like 27 directions.
Yeah.
Worked all roundabout.
The other thing that she
New York City.
mentioned, the gal from CDOT mentioned, is regarding the EV charging station. She found where it was at
San Diego Pike.
San Miguel Power, but it's not really clearly marked. And so that's another place where I think the town, we could chat with San Miguel Power, but I think a small EV sign and an arrow pointing there might just like get their attention on the roadway. Oh yeah, there's where you go, you know, cause she said it just wasn't marked really well. Most of those people that are looking for that, they have the apps that tell them where to charge, but just a suggestion that came from CDOT, so. Yes.
No, I'm all for it. I'm super happy that things are moving along and they seem to be moving along quickly, so I'm
The
super
conversations are
excited.
good, and I think it's really nice for the business people to get together and they get to chat back and forth about things that's going on, so it's been good, I think. I don't know what their feedback is, but I thought it was productive, so, yeah.
Even if the county commissioners aren't, cause I can see where they would have an issue with, the state highway and having those vehicles. But I think, you know, if there is concern there are other things that they can be doing for the town of Nucla. Whether it's advertising on the Rim Rocker Trail, advertising with Grand Mesa View Club. There's things that they can put out there for us on our behalf.
Well, the other thing I mentioned to Erica is that I think it could be easily remedied, you know, an inset of the town of Nucla with just a little note to the side. That 97 is the state highway, that we are OHD friendly, please park on the side roads, you know, you can cross them and park on the side. Walk over and get your sandwich, whatever. So I think, I mean, I don't know, I'm not good with the wording stuff, that's her deal, but she said, no, I think there's some things that we could do with that, so. I don't know, I mean.
I would love for them to park on Main Street. I love it. I love seeing the activity. I love seeing the rigs that they bring in. I mean, it's awesome. So if we can have them on that highway, I'm
Well,
all for
Jeeps and
that.
everything are fine, it's not the Jeeps, it's not the overland vehicles, anything that's. You know, licensed in the state of Colorado can park on their state highway, it's the
I
side by
think with the
side.
county, it's plausible deniability.
Well, we caused some of our own
Yeah.
problem with that, I know we did, because a number of years back. There was some complaining about the side by side activity on Main Street, and it probably was locals, if you wanna know the truth.
Yeah, I'd like to know who that was.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
may have a word or two.
I know.
Still in this flat town. It is.
But
Yeah.
it brought it to the attention of Montrose County that it was a state highway and that if they promoted that they could make themselves liable, and so then that's where the changes start. But then, I swear, we've had this conversation 15 times, so that's where this back and forth, and I talked to him about the consistency in just putting it one way and leaving it and stop changing it, because it's messing with all these different off-road apps and they're all different. And she said she hadn't thought about that, so, you know, it was a good conversation to have, you know. Yeah,
And I don't think, I wonder if CDOT would be disagreeable to an easement, just like they did down by Mesa Creek. How far is that? That's a mile or whatever on the highway
It's
or
still-
crossing the highway?
they just crossed
They
it
just
though,
crossed the
and then
highway?
they made they made the dirt trail, and then they crossed the highway why 3 times, I think, actually.
Yeah, so they were agreeable to crossing the
The
highway.
crossing thing is not the issue, in fact, that's lawful, they can cross anywhere they hear, it's the up and down thing, so, yeah.
We're just not along the main highway, like we are off road. We are not on the byway. We're not a thoroughfare. We're
I know
For
that's
our own
true,
good.
but I'm gonna play the devil's advocate because. I understand we're a small town and I love that we keep that feel, but it's not usually. I have a concern too, I talked to David the other day, he has concerns about all the underage kids that are riding the ATVs around town. Because it's probably not necessarily them that's the problem, it's the people who don't stop at the stop sign, that drive too fast, that race around, that's gonna hit one of the kids on the side by side. And I sure don't want that on my conscience, and that's exactly what David was expressing to me, cause he witnessed right down here on Main Street, a woman driving with a child on the back, and I said, he's asking me, what do I do? I said, well, you really just have to tell the deputies, you know, that's what you need to do, so, yeah.
And the cops already said that you're not to do anything, you have to call us.
Mhm.
Oh, you think that's bad? I was up in Fort Collins, and there's some kid running the side by the dang four-wheeler down one of the main streets
Mhm.
at night.
At night,
Lights
oh,
on,
yeah.
And probably
with 2 kids on the back.
I'm gonna throw something else out here while we're talking about our Main Street businesses and we're talking about the side by sides and all this and that. It's kind of stuck in my craw for a long time about the fees that we impose on the side by sides. Cause it's the locals that's paying it. You know, I think that the board at the time, I'm assuming, cause I wasn't on the board. When the Rim Rocker Trail came in, they got, oh, this is a way we can make some money, but they're not capitalizing on that with those travelers. It's us, you know, the locals. And so I think you can still have a permit. I just don't think there needs to be a fee attached to it. Come in and get your permit and what are we getting out of that? I mean, is it $100 or $150 a year that we're collecting? I mean, it's not
worth it.
It's not
So-
worth it, and it's the same,
It's posted that you need to have a permit.
it's in our ordinances
And we send out a
It's the-
reminder
Okay, so it's the law
of Nucla.
of Nucla, but let's say
Mhm,
you have somebody just buys a side by side.
mhm.
They're just thinking, hey, I'm getting a side by side, I'm gonna be doing this, that, and something
Mhm.
else with it, and
Yeah.
that's all they're thinking. How are we like touching base saying, reminder,
Well, if we spot them, then we try to send them a little letter and say,
Yeah.
you know, it's the town of Nicholas.
And we have been,
Okay.
we've been trying to put those notices and more information on social media, so, you know, but that, it falls on the owner of the vehicle, just
Yeah.
like it does a car, you
Yeah,
know, you
yeah.
have to have a permit or a license. And then the other thing I want you guys to think about is I've always been opposed to the business license. I think that, you know, it's again, a small amount of money. What are we paying for with that? Our business community gets gouged enough for everything. They pay more taxes, they pay more of everything else, and to me, it just is another hope. And I know it's not a lot of money, but it's also not a lot of money that's making any big transition or changes.
I felt part of
In the
it
town.
was to track.
You can still do those permits, I just don't think they have to have fees attached to them. I don't think that we're generating enough fees from either one of those things that it's really impacting anything, you know? And if you guys don't agree, I'm totally okay with that, I just wanna throw it out there and see
so
what you
you
guys
have
think
a
of it.
list of the people that have permits?
For the ATV.
For the ATV?
OHVs, yes, all 6 of them.
Oh, 6.
Mhm.
There's way more than 6 people that has it.
Yeah, and I think that, I agree with the fee thing, I don't think it's like gonna make or break the bank. Would like to make sure that people are aware that they should be carrying insurance. Or, you know, in the event of an accident or something, if you're, I mean, Lincoln Street, I'm sure that 4th Street, they're zipping by, like, that, some of them go 60, like, they're flying. And it's back and forth all afternoon, all weekend, you know, I'd like to see that they are carrying some insurance.
I don't think
But I
people
don't
are
think-
not paying the permit fee in town because of the amount, it's the insurance requirement to pay it.
And, you know, it's just letting them know that we're aware and that maybe they should be aware, you know? But yeah, right now we just say, oh, I spotted an ATV, but I didn't see the owner and get an ATV OHV, you know? We have people that are regular, they come in.
They have a list of everybody who has had a permit in the past, so they have that base, but that's not probably very many, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
It's like 6, maybe.
Anyway,
That's pretty.
I think promoting safety
Mhm.
would be huge, especially if the kids are on things, they need to have flags. You know,
And
you
not
know
riding on the
how
front
to
of the
drive,
four-wheeler,
yeah.
stuff like that.
But yeah, I don't think it's a big problem
However,
that we
then
need to solve.
how do we, then how would it enforce though too? Like, you know, so.
I would say it'd be up to the sheriff's office to figure out if they want to pull somebody over for that and give them a ticket for that. I don't think the town of Nucla,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think the
No.
town of Nucla should be
we don't.
enforcing that or
No, and
requiring really anything
it's,
from the
so,
people.
yeah,
That's where
if
I'm
we
at.
ask them like what, you know, it's like a consequence thing, like what, I mean, are we just going to, like, if we ask you to prove that you have insurance and that you own it, it's not stolen, but what can we really do?
It's a ticket, isn't it? Like from the sheriff's office.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
that's why we complain about people not having driver's licenses and things like that.
In
It's just a
regular
ticket.
License plates.
Yeah, it's just a ticket.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a problem that we need to have all these solutions for. I mean, I zip from my house to the Vestal house 10 times a day to change the water.
But you're also a licensed adult.
I am, yeah, for sure. No, the kids are definitely a
The thing
different
that
story.
I'm
The
witnessing
adult.
on our street over there, especially last summer, I witnessed this more than once, was up to 4 girls on an ATV. and you got two of them riding on the front, if the brakes have to be hit, it's scary.
As a parent, why would you let that?
That's a good question, Darla, that's what I thought, but, you know.
Because you don't know, darling.
Yeah, you may not know,
Yeah, that's
sort
sort of get the call.
That's true. Yeah. All right, well, I don't know if that warrants any other conversation down the road as far as those 2 fee things, but I just wanted to throw it out there and see what you guys thought about it, and
I
then.
think it's definitely, we need to do more discussion on it. I do know
Mhm.
Norwood gave up their, business licenses, a couple years back, so you no longer have to pay a business
fee.
license
Mhm.
fee. There, you still fill out
The information form.
the information form,
Yeah,
and, you know, in case anything changes or whatever,
yeah.
you still do that, but you don't, there's no fee.
I think that's reasonable, you know, I was kind of against it when they did it, cause I think I was still in business then too, and I know it's not a lot of money, but it's also not, like I said, doing a lot of benefit either, you know, so I don't know.
The biggest benefit for town hall is that we know, oh, well, we can call so-and-so and we have contact information, right? I mean, that's really
The main part.
the main.
With,
us,
so you
we're like,
need
oh,
that
phone number.
paperwork,
Yeah.
you need the,
Yeah.
you need the paperwork to be filled out.
So we can,
So yeah, that just goes into general fund money,
yeah,
like it's $50 or $100.
yeah, it's
for
like,
us.
there's like,
It's 50.
about 1,500, it's $30 per license.
Oh,
And
30.
in 2025, we brought in 1,000, and so we were hopeful that we would bring in 1,500 this year, you know, and I don't know where we're at, right? I mean, that's the one forward, but.
Well, I'll wait to put mine in until you, till the fee then.
That's free.
Yeah, tell you this.
Then I'm gonna open up a business. It's the only thing I've been waiting for.
$30.
I already have one, I just
Yeah.
haven't done anything.
Does
So
Does I'm sorry, does that take away our control at all for businesses, like? You know, when, the town of Natarita was looking at, well, long-term housing and the business licenses for short-term housing. And they approved the business licenses, can they can say no to a business license, right? And that kind of controls a little bit on the businesses they want in there.
Yeah.
So we're just, I mean, are we,
So in other words, are we?
welcome all businesses?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, but, I mean, we were talking about pot shops and things like that, the last one, but it's like, you know, we just wanna make sure that.
They could, yeah, and see, the thing is here, as long as I've been on the board, we have never had business licenses approved in this room, in this
Yeah.
body. In Natarita, they do.
Yeah, they sit and go through every
They
single.
go through them and the board
In the
votes to approve those business licenses or deny. So, you know, maybe that's part of this conversation is,
In order to,
but you have to have some basis. I mean, you have to have something policy on the book that's gonna say why you're gonna deny someone from doing business here.
Yeah.
You know,
So I
so,
think when I was trying to take in business licenses, I can remember reading or being told, maybe, I don't know, that if they're renewing, then, you know, we know that, you know, they're legit, but if it's a new one, a new application that comes across and it goes against the code, like marijuana shop or you know, adult
Another
shops,
liquor
whatever,
store,
or,
and,
you know,
you know,
anything like that,
yeah.
those are big
Yeah.
things that have to be approved, also because of the vicinity that they can be located or cannot be located. So you have to, I mean, there's kind of some common sense with the clerk that needs to be like, this is gonna have to go before the board.
and that, some of that is in our code too.
Yeah,
So-
and so,
so the ones you feel that need to come before the board, you'll bring up.
Yeah,
The ones that
yeah.
are
yeah, we're not
like
gonna,
renews, we don't have to,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, we know that,
Yeah,
yeah.
cause my renew that I did down there, they discussed it, I'm like, hello.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, if they're fairly benign businesses that are just, you know, but if it's questionable, like anything, it should probably go to the board. Like,
Yeah.
if you have a question on any of it, let's just talk,
Yeah,
let's have a
We'll
conversation.
get back to you on that.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
it's, well, it's CYA, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got 2 things we added to the agenda, and I wanted to just make sure that the consensus is to move forward with CDOT
Yes.
and the other signage things that we discussed. Is that everybody on board with that?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll let them know that we're ready for them to start the MOU, and then we'll get down to the final number, okay? Tim, you had,
So one of the things that came up was, having a public information officer, and part of that for us would be the fact that we have a public notification system for evacuate, that we could use for evacuation.
Okay.
So I think we have to have somebody designated to actually make that happen.
And you're calling it a public what?
Information officer.
A PO,
PIO.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look for. I think that's our text them all or what, I'll look for the.
The
communication, the
robocall
thing, and then. And public notification.
And this is for the evacuation and where to go. Basically.
What about landline? Is that something we, they have set up for that at, I don't know, the company?
We can work with dispatch to do that.
The Montrose
Like one
County.
of those
has-
Amber type things.
Yeah, Montrose
yeah.
County.
And then as far as appointing or selecting somebody to be the person, do you want me to just add that in with our other committees that need appointed? Okay.
so FYI, that next meeting that's coming up, they keep scheduling when I have appointments in Montrose, so I'm hoping you're going, Tim, I know you love to go, so.
Well,
I don't know if I'll be back in time, again, every single one, I've been to one out of three.
For the wildfire.
Just that emergency, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever they call it.
And we've actually got some fires going on, so.
And I actually got, I think I got signed up, because I wasn't there to be an intake person or something, to sign people in at the community center if there's an emergency and people need to know what to do. I was informed that they signed me up. I said,
Really?
That's what happens when you don't show up.
Who signed you up? Nobody.
Chris,
Oh, okay, she might have done it, but not during the meeting.
I guess, I don't know. I said I'd help, whatever, so.
But Christina was there and she volunteered to do that stuff, and
Okay.
not Trish did not volunteer for anything, but.
So as a trustee, what are the requirements to be on these different committees?
There's not requirements. It's usually, you usually take a turn, and if you've had enough, you say, I'm out, somebody else can do it for a while. That's how it's been going.
Pick one that
Seriously,
you like.
yeah. You won't like it, you know, just pick one.
Pick one that serves good lunch.
Which one is that?
I don't know.
I was
There's
gonna
guys I
say,
think
I
that
haven't got you good. Nobody fed us.
Is there any early in the morning that they'll bring donuts and coffee?
Well, you
Besides
could
the
volunteer to host and do donuts and.
Wednesday, second Wednesday. a month.
Oh.
Down at the airport.
There you go.
I thought that was just.
We're veterans, but sometimes we can have a family member.
Yeah.
Cause sometimes they're.
Thanks, John.
wants a donut.
Thanks for bringing up free donuts and
I'll
telling us.
have a donut.
Quality.
Used to be relative, would that work? I can have a donut?
Sure,
Okay, thanks.
come on up.
I've got soon to be son.
Because if you've got the military family, it gets you the auxiliary, so come on up.
Okay.
Okay.
One and thinker.
So the other thing, and I think I got this right, Amy, cause I was trying to type something in here, but was the wastewater reporting fine? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, but yeah, I just wanna overview that
That's a while
again.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wastewater reporting
Fine.
fine.
I thought I called it just because I couldn't Google it.
This does not have anything to do with the fines that happened or I heard about with
Missing water,
Missing Water, right?
two different things.
Because that was before you,
Yes, it was.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so two different things.
We
I
can
just wanna
talk
make sure.
about, we can talk about both of them if you want to, just
Sure.
so you guys have a basic understanding, but. I'm gonna let Tim talk about the wastewater stuff, he understands it better, but
Okay, so do we want to go now? Okay.
go.
So you have, for your wastewater system, you have a monthly report for the town of Nucla, it's a monthly report, for Mustang, it's a quarterly report. You have a monthly report you have to send into the state that has all your sampling results on it. And whether you have any violations based on those sampling results or not. So that report has to be filed every month. And it has to go through, it's an online system, it's run by the EPA. They call it net DMR, because this is a discharge monitoring report. Okay, a normal report that you fill out online these days, used to do it by hand. But anyway, so that has to be filed with the EPA by the 28th of every month. So they weren't filed for Nucla's discharge for, I can't remember the number of months that it was not filed. So when the state was here doing what they call a survey, it's not a sanitary survey for the wastewater, but it's an inspection of the wastewater system. Sanitary survey is for the water system. But when they do an inspection of the wastewater system, so they look at records. And of course, they looked at records and there were no records. So they sent us a letter of violation, a NOV, a notice of violation. We had to respond to that saying, if we could have provided the records, we would have got a slap on the wrist statement and fine. We could not produce the records. They'd actually been, supposedly, they had been sent to a dead letter email address at the state, which is, I don't know how you do that, but that's what we were told. So, because it is a system that's set up, it's an EPA system that's been in existence for quite some time, so I don't know how you would misdo that, but it happened. That was the statement. So we did not have those records filed with the EPA. So they issued us a notice of violation, and then they decided they were not going to give us any relief on it. And they fined us for every record that wasn't filed. And of course, they did give us some relief by not hitting us with every particular fine they could have done for every month for 2 or 3 years, is what it was. I think 2 years. But it's substantial, and even when they give us some relief, and if you have anything to add, go ahead. Even when they gave us some relief on it, it's still total 16,000 some dollars.
So
So-
that, the wastewater, who is,
We have a contractor that's the ORC for the wastewater, that holds the license for the ORC, which is,
So- And the contractor, like all contractors, you either have, like in this case, you have errors and omissions insurance, which is supposed to cover this kind of stuff. Okay, this is an error, it's an omission. So technically, their insurance should have covered it. Well, they talked to their insurance and their insurance told them they weren't covering it. So the town ate it.
And
so,
Go ahead.
so. Was this person said that the insurance wasn't gonna cover it, was there a letter received from the insurance to the town to say, no, we are denying that, or it was just verbiage from the ORC to say,
It was, all I ever heard was statements by the contractor, or Melissa, of course, was town manager at that time. And she was, of course, the ORC was reporting to her, and her report was that the ORC's insurance wasn't gonna cover.
This-
The ORC was trying to get her insurance, talking to her insurance at one point, and later it came back that it wasn't covered. And so the town paid it. Of course, the town paid it anyway, but then the insurance didn't come back and cover it.
the members.
This is a puzzle that I'm, like, there's a lot, I can't find all the pieces to get all the information.
yeah, so
Straight, it's very
Um,
confusing, because I was also, I'm sorry, just one second.
sorry.
I was also either told or I dreamt, God, I hope I didn't dream this. That they were upgrading the system to upload the reports, and it was a testing site for some time, and then we didn't transfer over from the testing site when it went live. And so the reports were being submitted to this testing dashboard where everybody was practicing on, when actually the site had gone live and we hadn't changed over to the live site. Now, like I said, I'm still piecing all this together as well.
So, so you, as a town manager, follow up to make sure that that's,
We get copies of the reports.
so you
Monthly.
kind of file, you know, you have deadlines
Email.
to meet, you
Mhm.
see that those deadlines are being met.
Now that's being done.
Now,
Now that's
yeah.
being done,
Uh,
okay.
Well, it started to be done after this had occurred, of course. Melissa was getting them, it was the trust but verified whole thing. So yes, the ORC was submitting confirmation that the reports had been filed. But I will tell you that same statements were made at Mustang Water and they weren't being trumped.
So,
That's right.
can you explain to me why just the verbiage of my insurance isn't gonna cover that was accepted and not, let's have proof.
Written, something.
Written, yeah, written.
Yeah,
Or why our insurance isn't going after their
Yeah,
insurance.
yeah,
well, yeah, maybe, I don't know, I don't think there's a.
don't have an answer. I can look and see.
We
Is
paid
it-
it out of our, we paid it, I know we paid it out of the sewer enterprise fund, I mean, that's.
so of this,
It'd be good to see if it was, anything
Still-
was submitted to Sursa, to try to recoup
Yeah,
that.
well,
out of
something-
there.
yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of money, 16,000 or 18,000 you mentioned, or I heard 17,000, so
It's in
what?
that ballpark, yeah, but I don't.
Yeah.
6 or something like that.
Yeah, that's quite a lot of money, and that is in the, comes out of the water fund, so it's not like you can just use that 16 or 17,000 wherever else you want it, it has to be in the water
It's
fund,
a-
right?
yeah, it's a-
Okay, so,
So yes, and well, that also begs the question is, if the errors and emissions insurance didn't cover that, then are we covered at all, period, by that contractor's insurance?
And there was some change on that policy thing with that, after that happened too, about any contractors and their insurance stuff. I remember that,
And at the first of the year, yeah, one of the first things I did was I reached out to all contractors and requested the new W-9 or whatever it's called. And copy of their insurance, a certificate of their insurance for the entire year of 2026.
But the only problem with that is if they provide a certificate of insurance, but it turns down that their insurance is not gonna cover things, then you have nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the limits and stuff need
Yeah.
to be acceptable.
It's a separate policy. It's not just the liability insurance, it's a separate error and omission.
It should be listed at the
Policy.
bottom of the COI under other
It's a
examples.
professional-
Yeah.
It's professional license type policy,
Yeah.
it's different than.
so are we
regular
still using the same
Yeah.
ORC?
it's the only one we have.
And we verify that we've got insurance now?
I have certificate of insurance on file.
That will include any emissions
I
or
believe so.
emissions or.
I will write
Errors
this
and
emissions.
Errors and emissions.
Professional liability.
And we're getting confirmation that the things are being submitted. That's coming here, not to the ORC,
Mm-hmm.
that the documents are being submitted.
The state. Well, actually, the EPA and the state, it's a joint program for the DNR, the DNR reports. But it goes to the EPA, they send you, you tell them, I want an email saying that this is accepted as a submittal, and they do that, that's what I do with anymore. So I get an email all the time that tells me that yes, it was successfully submitted and accepted. So, yes, so we should have that, and that copy of that should be forwarded to the town manager, that's your way of having insurance,
Okay, and that's all being done now.
don't know. I haven't heard nothing, it was just a verbal confirmation from Melissa that yes, it was being done, so
When,
Jessica can tell us if it's
Okay.
being done.
it's been supposed to be monthly, right?
Right, for us on our discharges monthly.
And yours is quarter. What's the difference? Why do you have to only do quarterly? I mean, I'm glad.
The quantity and the type of stuff, the type of, chemicals and whatnot sampled for.
Oh.
I just sample for chlorine and pH, basic stuff. Nucla has a whole list of stuff they sample for, and it's extensive, and so it's every month, and it's based on your discharge flow amount.
And this ORC does all that testing, or you do all that testing?
DRC did.
Okay.
Yes. And that is one of the reasons, that's. The elimination of contractor is part of the reason for putting the onus on the public works director now to do that. So,
Part of the job description change was that would be in-house instead of a contractor moving forward as we can transition out of.
And pull, yeah.
She pulled this at some other time. She have to go search for it. It's up to these guys. If you wanna see it tonight, she'll find it, and not, she'll find it. Jess, you don't have to keep digging, honey.
Now we're.
No, she has
She's on
to.
mission.
Rebel. And it's, I mean, I think you're clear, but I just wanna make sure, so Mustang Water and what Tim does for them is completely separate.
Yeah.
Than the town, therefore.
I just wanna make sure.
He just happens to be our go-to smart guy on all that stuff, so.
Okay.
I understand.
That, yeah, chunk of money.
It was a far bigger.
And so
chunk.
you are getting confirmation now that those reports are going in
Yes,
monthly?
Yes, it
And
says,
being successful,
mhm,
uploaded successful?
yes.
And it says whatever.
Yes, whatever report's submitted, and then there's like, I'll forward one to you, it's fun.
You get a confirmation? Keeping them in a folder somewhere?
Yeah, they come digital, so they get dropped into a drive folder
Yeah,
and archived in the.
I have them send the confirmation email. I also have them actually send me a copy of this in full. So I have a
Copy too.
electronic still.
But I'll forward it to Chris so you can look at, because it's real
Okay.
interesting.
I need to fall asleep. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, thank you. I wanted to know that.
Yeah, it's painful.
Yeah. And that, no chances that you can go to the ORC and say you failed us and then you pay the fine? And do payment arrangements with that ORC to say, okay, this is your screw up? Or does the town feel like it's kind of both?
Oh, no, it's not the town's. There's no responsibility there. You hired somebody to do the job and it wasn't getting done.
I think absolutely there's that.
So can I ask why then that we don't say?
I'm guessing you probably bankrupt that ORC, just to be honest. It would be probably
It didn't seem to also be the majority of the board that wanted to move in that
yeah. I don't-
direction at the time.
And so that case is closed. You can't open it back up.
There wasn't a vote that I recall, there just didn't seem
Well,
to
it's not a
be.
murder charge.
Lot of money.
No statute.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's, if the board wants to entertain that, that's fine. I don't necessarily have any, one way or another. It's like Mustangs, when the fine came down, $38,000, $40,000. You sit there and you go, okay, how are you gonna claw that back? You may be basically involved in a lawsuit where you spend that much on legal fees and never get it back. But, then again, you may get it back, but the 16,000 is I think part of previous board members' thoughts on it was, well, you wash your hands of that ORC, you move on to something else. And
That's what I.
that loses you your job. I mean, really.
Yeah,
that
you lose your job, but then we're still using that same ORC because there's no other.
They have to at the moment,
They
unless you
have
wanna
to,
go out for another contract ORC. I can't. Because I don't have a collection system license. Now, I could probably get a small systems license and I could act as the ORC. Which we need to have a backup ORC no matter what. But, right now I couldn't act as the wastewater collection system, which is the pipes. Not the plant. I can act as the plant. I got an A wastewater. I can do the plant. The actual, lagoon system, I can be ORC for that, just like I can be ORC for all the water stuff in town. And including the distribution system, which is piping, but for the collection system for the sewer, I cannot for the piping. I don't have that license. Mainly because those sons of bitches won't give you a license unless you actually do city work, and I've always only done private system that can run my wastewater.
I do think that though, it brings up a good point that maybe we should have a policy and stuff in contracts, stating clearly about, like, I haven't reviewed the contract or anything, but something that says these are the expectations and this is what you should have to cover and then
We
we
need to
can
look
read.
at the contract. You are actually supposed to have a written contract with the contract oversee. You're supposed to, the state requires it, so.
So,
And we do have a contract with her?
I would assume so. I mean,
Yeah.
I can dig for it, but I think that we definitely need to be refreshed on, the requirements.
I know we had one.
And if the contracts are expired at a certain period of time, or do we renew, all those
Yeah,
things, so,
that would
yeah,
be-
that's so that we live and learn and we don't just. And go home.
Do the same thing over and over again. Yeah.
Especially if there are reports that are due to the EPA and, you know, CDPG and things like that, and those definitely need to be in there, you're responsible for those.
Not really went through the same thing. Their ORC was not filing his TMR.
So they have
Like $30,000.
massive fines.
that
So much fun.
filings scare me, like, they're due, okay, I gotta get it in there. I can't-
65,000.
Oh my, yeah.
I can't imagine not.
Doing your job?
You know,
I mean, for a couple of years, that's a long time to not know.
Right
it is kind of common, like, too, for the.
You see me on this.
What I'm kind of hearing, for the rural municipalities to get large fines like this, you know, because either we don't know, or it's just falling through the cracks. I don't know the excuses, you know, but, that's a lot of money for these
That's the
little
time,
guys. That's
that's
a lot,
true,
and
and
it's
it's
so what do you
common
do, like,
in
state
places
comes
that
in,
don't-
they
Exactly.
fine you, and then what do you doing with that money? Where are you spending it? Can you help us save it and put it back into what we need to fix, or?
Yeah,
And
and
that's
that's,
saying we're paying that off over like 3 years
Mhm.
because of the size of that. I mean.
Mhm.
Yeah, pretty bad.
We have one more year with this fine, like, we're making the fourth payment, and we'll have two more like next.
Well, can you,
year.
can you tell me what the payment is, or you email it, you
It's-
email it to me?
Come on.
No, twice a year.
Wait, oh, okay.
It's fine, or yeah, twice a year, every 6 months. Yeah, and we send it early because.
I bet you
we-
do.
We send it about a month early because we like to be like, you know,
Mhm.
and it's overnighted to directly.
Yeah.
For
I can
signature
understand
required.
that.
Oh, yeah, signature required.
To be quite honest, I've been tied up with Mustang for several years with the issues out there, so I'm currently starting to do more looking at our system, so, which is the DSD and whatnot, so I'm becoming more involved, and I certainly want to become more involved in oversight, but, this thing was prior to my.
So what year was that? Like, when did that happen? Cause I mean, obviously,
We
were
started-
any of you guys on,
20.
you weren't on the board?
Are you talking about with the
fine?
the wastewater?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was on the board.
We,
Yeah, it's been like in the last.
2022 to 2024, something like
I
that.
think we sent our first
Yeah.
fine payment in December
$16,000 one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was here too.
I'll find what I can and put it together and we'll see if we can.
There were several requests by the board to find out about the insurance thing and how that was progressing and, you know, it was for the first time that it was just like, we hadn't heard anything back, we hadn't heard anything back, we hadn't heard anything back. Until we get to the point that it's like we have to pay it. And then we're still waiting to hear back, you know.
so is there any kind of policy in there that, like, in this town stuff that, like, any, that we require written?
Well, cause the handbook is specific to employees,
Oh.
so it wouldn't be in there, I don't think, I can double check.
With our, like,
But in the
in
contract
the
itself.
contract, with
it
the
should-
contractors, it should have had that.
Yeah, I'm sure it has some verbiage that says we require insurance, but does it require insurance to the extent of the job that you're doing? Like, we don't want you to carry $300,000 limits when you're working on our main line that's brand new. Like, you should be carrying responsible and credible. But yeah, we'll look at individual contracts. I mean, I don't know if we have a blanket contract, 'cause
Yeah, and do you, on any of your contracts, you guys don't like specify you will have this much coverage and you will have this?
starting at the beginning of the year, I just contacted all the contractors that we had in the QuickBooks that we had paid within the last 2 years, and I sent them a letter and I said, I need to cover your insurance and I need your W-9 and,
And no, you don't, however they're covered, if it's 50,000, 100,000, a million, you don't require an exact dollar.
I
amount?
didn't have those numbers to throw at them, but most of them carry respectable numbers of about $1 million.
Okay.
Especially if they're doing any digging. Johnson Brothers, they're plenty. The
Yeah.
emergency work and stuff. Johnson's like the tree trimmers, good limits. I haven't seen anything that's like,
Okay. Just curious, cause I mean, I've been,
no, it's
like you will have this, you will have that type thing.
Yeah. And I know with like CDOT, the Main Street job, of course, CDOT required it, and so first, for that contract, Williams had to provide certain addendums and whatnot, and so that stuff covers it.
Well, I think it also sometimes depends on where the funding's coming from too. Is that correct? I think so.
It has to be a certain percentage of the amount of the contract fee or above and beyond the contract. Because if you have more than one incident, you need to be able to cover both.
Well, if there's responsibility reporting, that will need to be in the contract next time.
And entities that are, if you're legit and wanna be responsible, you will carry the limits because you.
You wanna do the business,
And-
yeah, you
and-
wanna get business.
And because that's what insurance is for.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's a necessary evil.
So do you want to proceed forward with something different? I mean, are you wanting to dig into that at this point, or is it more just, knowledge of what's?
I definitely wanted some knowledge. I would be very curious, and I don't know if it even matters at this time, if you have a contract signed with her. I would be very curious to see that contract.
I'll look at it.
And also if there's a letter that came from the insurance that we maybe had a copy of, or maybe we didn't, but if there was one available, I think it'd be nice to see that, so.
So, okay, thank you.
Anything else? Those are the two things I added to the bottom. No?
No, I'm excited about the signs. I can't even tell you how excited I am. And yes, take them out of the lodging tax. 100%, that's, so yeah, I hope that the lodging can be on the sign, but if not, we can always.
There's
do
bed
a
there.
sign.
There was a bed.
I know, but if we have to have 50 beds to be on a sign.
And pretty good with the information she called and asked about. She said it's his call, it definitely is, but she said it's been done before, so I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that he says.
Well, if we have to have a letter or whatever
Yep.
saying this.
Say that, how big have you been to Nucla?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. That's why she said there's that option, is because it's not like.
I'll put-
If we need to write them a letter, then I
Yeah.
think we need to write them a letter, or we can do something different later on and make sure that we're promoting beds.
Yeah.
One way or the other, but I love everything that you've presented so far, Paula, so I'm excited.
Exciting. Oh, Tim missed one.
I hate to bring this up.
We're not
We're having some discussion.
So.
So should we just add this to the next agenda item?
I probably will be okay, I just need to touch base with, because I saw this Colorado Rural Water Association thing. And part of that is we had a ongoing, we received money for, what did I do?
You missed it, Jim.
We received money, or can receive money from the state to cover costs associated. We participated in the source water program. And part of that was you can receive up to $5,000 for source water protection, things that you do in your town. So Nucla and Narita both qualified. So we were gonna have a reimbursement of some of our legal and engineering fees for the proposed alternate distribution point effort for our water rights in the river, moving them up to the Highline Canal headgate, the ditch headgate. So Narita was also in on that. Narita's, now they have second thoughts about maybe they don't really want to do that. They're afraid it might raise the can of worms about how things were being exercised or not exercised. Actually, I think they're pretty covered. Nucla does have a potential problem. Currently, we have a lease for our water rights. I think we ought to add this to the next meeting, because I think I can push off, but I just had a query from the person it's in charge of that, asking if we progressed any on what we were doing. Because we haven't approved, but it's been treading water, so to speak, because of the county joint water rights issue we've got where we're gonna have to pay money. So I let this other thing lapse because Narita was kind of waffling on whether they wanted to do it, and I do want you guys to think about the fact that we really need to establish an alternate diversion for our water rights that are currently only have a diversion point at the pump station. that pretty much limits us pretty bad as far as exercising those rights. So that was the reason to ask put it up with the ditch company, when we asked the ditch company if they had any problems with it, they said, no, under certain circumstances, of course. So, anyway, it's on hold, so that program's on hold, and that money will disappear in September.
Mm.
So we do have to make a decision on it. We could put that money towards this county stuff. Cause we're gonna have, what, 15,000 or so that we have to spend on that, so this 5,000 could go towards that. But we still have to consider that ultimate diversion point for our water rights at the Nucla pump station on the river, so.
So the state source water program for the next agenda.
Yes.
Where's my,
It actually, I thought it was already done, so thanks for bringing it up, Tim. Yeah, thank you. All right, if there's not any other business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
just a reminder that 4:30 for the next meeting, because the land use and development workshop, okay, so it's gonna be a little bit before 5. I know that that's kind of struggle for,
For the next meeting.
yes, because Gabe with, the
20.
RPI will be here.
Were you gonna be gone?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
I was
gone.
gonna say, I
Okay.
think she
The
said
22nd, 23rd, 24th,
Okay.
25th.
Yeah, you said that.
So, and then bring snacks, or I can pick up snacks. But anyway, food thought, or food for snacks.
Somebody used to say.
Okay.
That's awful.
He's looking at Kenny. Fire that baby up. Did you just look this up something? Yeah.
Can you bring cheese pizza too while you're at it?
Yeah. That's about all I could bring. All right. All right, did I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
So June 16th, works before work. Take advantage of that
I
one.
left on our public. Oh, I had the best thing on our public.
Really? I need to do a purchase forward.
I
can't get on that early.
You're still on.
My thing is.
Yeah, it's owl off.
No, hold on, sorry.